What if there's a book that was known to the earliest believers, quoted in the Bible, and yet left out, not hidden, not erased, set aside? And what if that book describes a world before the flood, not just filled with corruption, but something far more unsettling? It speaks of beings called Watchers, who descended, shared forbidden knowledge, and changed the course of humanity. So, maybe the real question isn't, what is the Book of Enoch? It's, why was it left out? The Book of Enoch is an ancient Jewish work traditionally linked to Enoch, the man in Genesis who walked with God. It's not included in most modern Bibles, but it wasn't unknown. Fragments were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Entire sections were preserved within Ethiopian Christianity. So this isn't a late invention. It's an early text, circulating around the same time period as many biblical writings. And here's where it gets difficult to ignore. Part of it shows up, almost word for word, in the New Testament. In the Epistle of Jude, a surprising line appears. Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied. What follows closely matches a passage from the Book of Enoch. Now that doesn't automatically make Enoch scripture, but it does tell us something important. This wasn't an obscure text. Its ideas were known, discussed, taken seriously, at least by some early readers, which creates a real tension. How can a book be known, quoted, and still not included? The answer starts with one of its most controversial sections. In Genesis 6, we get only a few lines. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful. It's brief, mysterious, unexplained. But in the Book of Enoch, those few lines become an entire narrative. Now, lean in here, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Beings called Watchers descend to earth. They interact with humanity. They teach things they were never meant to share. Metalworking, weapons, sorcery, hidden knowledge. And according to the text, this doesn't just add to human corruption, it accelerates it. Not just evil increasing over time, but something entering the human story from the outside. And if that sounds extreme, it should, because Genesis only gives a glimpse. Enoch expands it into something much bigger. Step back, and a pattern begins to come into focus. In Genesis, the flood follows this line. Every imagination of the thoughts of man was only evil continually. But it doesn't explain how things reached that point so quickly. Enoch attempts to fill that gap, not necessarily as scripture, but as a framework early readers used to understand a world unraveling. And the pattern shows up again and again. Creation, corruption, intervention, renewal, before major turning points in scripture. Corruption doesn't just grow, it accelerates. Something shifts the trajectory. Whether you read Enoch literally, symbolically, or as ancient reflection, it's wrestling with the same question. What changed the world so dramatically before the flood? So why isn't the Book of Enoch included in most Bibles? Not because it was unknown, and not because it had no influence, but because it raised difficult questions. Questions about authorship. Was it truly written by Enoch, or later in his name? Questions about theology. Some descriptions go beyond what Genesis clearly states. And questions about authority. Early communities prioritized writings that were widely accepted and consistent with Scripture's core message. So Enoch wasn't erased. It was set outside the boundary. Not rejected entirely, but not given the same weight. But that leads to a more interesting question. Why did so many early readers find it meaningful? Because even outside the canon, the Book of Enoch reflects something real, an attempt to understand a world that felt unstable, as if corruption wasn't just internal, but influenced by something beyond them. And in a very different way, we still wrestle with something similar today. Knowledge expands faster than wisdom. Power grows faster than restraint. Not the same situation, but a similar tension. What happens when humanity gains access to things before it's ready to handle them? Both Genesis and the ideas preserved in Enoch quietly press that same question. So maybe the Book of Enoch isn't ultimately about what was left out. Maybe it's about what it was trying to explain, because sometimes what sits outside the canon still reveals what people were trying to understand inside it. What do you think? Ancient insight, symbolic expansion, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if you've been following this Origins series, we're not done. Because Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah. And that line opens a question we haven't fully explored yet. Sources for the Book of Enoch, its connection to Jude, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and canon history are in the description. If you want more clear, balanced explorations of Scripture and ancient texts, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Because sometimes the most important insights aren't just in what was included, but in what people couldn't quite ignore.